This is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to make this double layered braided cowl. And this is a design by Crochet Dreams, and she gave me permission, as well as my hobbyist Crochet. She did a guest blog on my hobbyist Crochet, and it just blew up. It is February 2016, and I've seen more pictures of people who've been creating this scarf than I have any other at this point in time. So I asked if I could do a tutorial on it, and my Crochet Dreams was kind enough to let me do it. So this is going to be that tutorial. And because I've been seeing so many pictures of everything on this scarf, I wanted to share pictures of some of the people who gave me permission to show their pictures of their scarves in this video. So it'll give you more of an idea on some color combinations that you can use. Okay, to make this scarf, she calls for 2 skeins of yarn. I used a full skein and just a little bit of this one, so it doesn't even take 2 full skeins. So if you have like a half a skein of one color and a full skein of it as well, that should be enough to make one scarf. Or you can do like you just saw in the pictures and use many colors. I mean, if you have a decent amount of each color, and you use many, then you could kind of use it, you know, out of scrap yarn if you have enough. So I'm going to show you how to make the actual braid. I mean the actual strips. Each one of these has 4 strips. So I'm going to show you how to make each of them, and then I'll show you how to put them together. So for this tutorial, you're going to need wash to weight yarn, 4-ply for the US, 10-ply for Australia. And also it requires a 5mm hook. And also you're going to need a tapestry needle, because you're going to need to hide the ends, and at the point after you braid them together, it's best to kind of go through where the braids connect and tighten it just a little bit there. I mean, sew it there so it doesn't come loose. So you're really going to need a tapestry needle. Also, you're going to need a 1-inch button. She says 1-inch wooden button, but it doesn't have to be wood. Just make sure that it's at least 1 inch in width, because the pattern will have kind of a big buttonhole. But if you have a smaller one, I can show you another method on how you can shrink your buttonhole just a little bit. But I think it looks better with a bigger button. So anyway, don't forget to get the button. And that is it. So go ahead and grab those items and we'll get started. Okay, so for the purposes of this tutorial, because I think it's very important that you see where I'm putting my stitches, I'm going to be using a thicker yarn and a bigger hook, just so that you'll be able to see the stitches a lot better. But remember, you go ahead and use the wash weight yarn and 5mm hook. I'll be using a thicker yarn and a 6mm hook. The chains are 2 different sizes. One's smaller, and then you have, that'll be in the inside of the cowl, and then you have a bigger one. Hi guys, this is an update to the video. I had filmed the previous video and realized that I had made the strips wrong. You were supposed to make both of the sides like this, so I'm having to refilm this part. And also, you're supposed to keep the strips connected, and that's something else I didn't do. So that's my fault. Clearly it says it right in the pattern, but as some of you know who follows me on Facebook, I had a death in the family, and right around the time I was supposed to start this tutorial, and I probably should have taken some more time off, and I didn't. I felt bad because I had already told her I was going to start working on it, and then it was like a week she didn't hear from me. So I was really in a rush to do it. I even meant to watch the video she has on how to make these on the site, and I didn't. I was kind of in a haze, so I'm going to refilm this now and show you exactly how you're supposed to do it, and that you are supposed to keep it connected. So when you see it later on where the strips, and I'm showing you how to put the strips together and how to braid it, you'll notice that the strips are separate and that they have some of this ridge on the front and the back, but you're only supposed to have it on the front. So just ignore that part. You know that this is the front part of the scarf with the ridges on the front, and the back that's, you know, flat is the back of the, so you know when you start to braid which side that you're supposed to braid. So having said that, I'm going to show you how to do this strip again, or for the first time actually, because you're only watching this now. So you want to, like I mentioned before, I know in the tutorial that you have two different size strips. One is that you chain 70, which is the smaller strip, and then one that you chain 86. 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now you go ahead and you chain your 70 or your 86, whichever braid set you're making. But the point is, when you get done with the last row, you just go ahead and chain for the next. So what you want to do is, once you have your chain of 70 or 86, you'll work in the second chain from the hook and start working your half double crochets. And I'm only going in through that top. Let me get a little closer for you. I'm going into the second chain, and I'm going through only that top loop. So you'll yarn over, go into that chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and you will just do a half double crochet all the way down. And you will be working in the stitches of the sides of the half double crochet, so do your best not to crochet very tightly. So continue working your half double crochets down your chain, and if you're making a chain of 70 at the end of this row, you should have 69 stitches, and if you're working the chain of 86, you should have 85 stitches at the end. Okay, just reach into my row. Make sure you always count your stitches. It's very important. So I have one less stitch than my chain was. I had a chain of 20, so I have a chain of 19. You had a chain of 70, you have a chain of 60, half double crochets of 69. So when you get to the end, chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to be working in this 3rd stitch. So when you work in crochet, you have this V that's at the top, which is your front and back loop. Now you don't want to be working in either of those. You want to just turn it to the side, and there is a row of stitches along here that you'll be working into. And I'm going to go into one of those now so you can see. We'll be working half double crochets again. So you'll yarn over, and if you look on the side here, it almost looks like it's the stitch again. Like if you look here, see there's the stitch. If you look this way, it almost looks like there's a stitch here and here. It's almost like a double. And you're going to be using these bottom ones, the front loop, if you're looking at it like this. So this first row here. So you'll yarn over, you'll go into that first loop there and do a half double crochet. Yarn over, you're going to be going into the next stitch here, do a half double crochet. Now if you look, and it can be kind of difficult for you, you have like 2 stitches side by side. There's almost like there's the stitch you're supposed to go into, and then there's like one in between, and then the stitch you need to go into, and then the one in between. If you're not sure which one, you can always just like re-look at it, find the kind of stitch look like this, the V-stitch, and then you'll know that this is exactly the opposite one of the top. So you know that this is the stitch you need to go into. And it'll take practice, but you will get a hang of it. And I'm just doing a few here to show you that you're going to now get this ridge that goes on the side here. That's basically, it is your stitches here, just pushed forward. And that happens by going into that stitch from behind. So again, continue to go into this stitch. Till you get to the very end of your row. Then I'll show you how to do the next row. Okay, again, count your stitches at the end of your row, and when you have your correct amount of stitches, you'll chain 1 and turn. Now you should have this ridge here. So we're going to do exactly what we just did before, except we're going to be working on it on the opposite side, which is kind of weird. So, because we're going to need to work into the back part of the stitch. So you're going to find your stitches just like this, and then you'll turn it to where this flat back side is facing you, and you're going to be working in that same stitch, but you're going to be working at it on it from behind. So if you look in your stitches, each stitch of the half double crochet has 3 loops. There's 1, 2, and then the third, because you pull through all 3 loops. The one you're going to want to go into is the middle of the 3 loops. Let me get a closer shot of this. Okay, so this is your stitch. On a half double crochet, you yarn over and you pull through 3 loops. So your stitch is made up of 3 loops. So if you look at your stitch, you'll see there's 1 loop here. This is your second, and then the top of your stitch is your third. You want to be going into the middle one, the middle loop. So you can see on your own, there's 1, 2, and 3. You're going to this big middle one here, this one. So when we do our row this time, I know I'm close, but I want to show you. You're going to chain 1 to begin your row, then yarn over, and you're going to find your very first stitch of the row, and you can see 1, 2, and then the top is the third. You're going to go into this, and sometimes it helps if you use the hook part of your hook to grab that up, then yarn over, pull through that stitch, then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So again, yarn over, go into the next stitch. Again, this is the first one right here, this is the middle, this is the top. You want to go into this middle one. I'm going to grab it with my hook, pull a loop through it, then you'll pull through all 3 loops. Yarn over, and again, 1, 2, and 3. This is the middle one. Grab it up with your hook, yarn over, pull a loop through it, and then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And I want to do that a few times so I can show you what the other side looks like here. Sorry if I'm too close for some people. We'll go ahead and back up just a little bit. I'm using my loop my hook to grab a hold of it. So you want to continue this down your whole row, and at the end of the round you should have the same stitches that you had before, whether you're working the chain of 70 or the chain of 86, because you'll be working them exactly the same way, only one will just have a longer chain. And again, count your stitches, and at the end of the row you want to start your chain. I have the 3, see, 3 connected right here. So I need 1 more. You're always going to be working with 4 strips. So if you're working with the 70, chain 70. If you're working with the 86, now you chain 86. And then you'll continue to work your strip just like I showed you here. Now remember, in the next section of the tutorial, my strips won't be connected, but I'm still going to show you how to connect them. But you won't have to worry about that so much, but you go into the same stitches that I mentioned in the video. Now she wants you to work 1 single crochet and then do a decrease, a single crochet decrease by working 2 single crochets together and then working 1 single crochet. So each band should have a single crochet decrease, and a single crochet. So each in the end will have 3 stitches worked in it. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So at the end we should have 12 stitches. So I'm going to start off my very first single crochet, because remember I said single crochet, decrease, single crochet, all worked in this top one. So I'm going to make my very first single crochet by doing a single crochet attachment. And how you do that is that you just go in through a stitch at the beginning. I think I'm going to try to go in through this very first side stitch there. Then you're going to pull a loop through that stitch, but don't pull it through the loop that was already on your hook, leaving yourself 2 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through both those loops for your very first single crochet. Now I usually go through the stitch before, or I guess I'm going to call this these side stitches here the line that's gonna help me determine where I put my single crochet decrease. I'm going to go into a side stitch before it and pull up a loop. Then I'm going to find a stitch on the other side of that line and pull up a loop. Then pull through all 3 loops for your single crochet decrease. And then to finish this strip you need to find a place to put a single crochet. So like I did here, trying to put one in the side stitches of the top of my side stitches, I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to find a place to put it here on the top of my side stitches there. So I have my single crochet decrease, and then my single crochet here. So I have my 1, 2, and 3, well, 3 stitches. My 3 stitches there, and I'll continue that. So you'll pick up your next strip, see these side stitches here, try to find a place on the top here to put your first single crochet. And I always try to make sure that it's not like a long line here like that, where you have a string separating them. You want to make sure that it's close together, that it's tight. And then do your single crochet. And then again, you'll find 1 stitch that's before this line. So I'm going to go here somewhere. And then I'm going to go somewhere on the other side of this. Or you can go right into this if you feel comfortable. But I like to go on the other side because I'm trying to make it easier for myself. Then pull through all those. Why do I keep losing it every time I do that? Pull through all those to make your single crochet decrease. And then again, find your side stitches here. Find the very top one and put your single crochet there. Okay, then we're just going to keep on working down. There's my side stitches. Find the top one, put your single crochet, making sure that you keep them together and there's no separation really in between them. Then you'll do your single crochet decrease, finding a place here to do it here, and then on the other side. Then on the other side stitch here, I'll find somewhere on the top to put my single crochet. Then again, the last strip, side stitches here. I'm going to find a place on the top of those to put my single crochet. Then I'm going to go before the strip, find a stitch, then after the strip and find a stitch. Work my decrease and then put your single crochet somewhere on the top of the side stitches. Now you should have a total of 12 stitches here. So now you want to chain 1 and turn. So for row 2, now in these side stitches, not side stitches, now in the stitches that we just made, it's going to be so much easier to see the actual stitches. So in your first stitch, you want to work a single crochet. Then you want to do a decrease. So you'll go into your next stitch, pull up a loop, then go into your next stitch, pull up a loop, pull through all 3 loops. Then you'll repeat this for the round, doing a single crochet in your next stitch, then doing a single crochet decrease, then repeating single crochet, single crochet decrease, single crochet, single crochet decrease. Now at the end of this row you should have 8 stitches. Then you want to chain 1 and turn for row 3. Okay, for row 3 you want to single crochet in the first 3 stitches. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and 3 single crochets. Then you want to do a decrease again. So you're going to go on through the next loop, the next stitch, and then the next stitch. Pull through all 3 loops. And then you're going to do a single crochet again in the next 3. And you should have 7 stitches. So single crochet in 3, single crochet decrease, and then single crochet in the last 3 stitches for row 3. So then you want to chain and turn. Now for rows 4 through 14, which is what we're about to start, you want to just be putting 1 single crochet in each of those 7 stitches. This is the time where if you had some kind of marker, it would come in handy. I do have my little marker here that I'm always using. So what I'm going to do, since it's from row 4 to 14, is I'm going to do my row 4, then I'm going to mark it, because then I'll be marking my row 4, and then I know I just have to count from where my stitch marker is up. Just have to count 14. So what I'm going to do, 14, and count 10. So what I'm going to do is put 1 single crochet in each of my 7 stitches. 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I'm going to get my marker here, and you can use a piece of string if you want. And I'm going to mark this last row that I did. So I now know this is row 4, and I need to count 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll count all my rows until I have 10 rows from my marker to the last row work. So go ahead and do that for the next 10 rows, and I'll see you back here in a moment. Okay, I just got done with my 14 rows. This is my marker where I marked it on the 4th row, and then I just did 10 more rows for a total of 14 rows. Now if you can't see the bottom, say that you didn't mark it or you think you might have marked it wrong, I don't know, but I want to show you how you can tell your very first row. So it's best if you flip it to the back here, and if you can see our very first stitch, you can see it easier, well, backwards camera, you can see it easier if you look on the very side stitches. See, this was our first stitch going in to our strip. This was row 1, row 2, 3, and 4. And row 4 here is where we have our marker. So we'd have row 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. And she says that this end strip should measure 3.5 inches, and 3.5 inches is about 8.89 centimeters. So almost 9 centimeters. So again, it's easier to measure from the back. I have my centimeters here. If you go to the end and then to this very first See, this is about where it ends right here. I mean, where it begins. So it's about almost 9. So we'll just say 9. Yeah, about exactly 9 centimeters. So that's about, you should have about 9 centimeters or 3.5 inches. You can chain 1 to end your little section here, and then you want to cut your yarn. Cut it, leaving yourself a bit of a tail so that you can work in later. Oh, other way. Okay. Now you're ready to start braiding. So I'm going to flip my piece back over here. Take out my marker. I want to keep my yarn handy and my hook handy. So with my yarn, I'm going to go ahead. Again, my camera is backwards. Let me get rid of. Leave yourself a tail. And go ahead and make your slip knot and set it to the side. That way you have it ready to pick back up. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my tapestry needle because it's going to make it a lot easier to braid when you don't have to fight with all these tails. I'm going to go ahead and hide them real quick. So I'm going to hide it down, and this is actually the strip that goes down. It's actually a pretty good place to hide your tails. So I'm going to pull it and tug it this way. Cut that tail. And this one I'm just going to go down my side stitches with my strip here. Okay, now we got a clean braid to work with. Now, there's 2 different sides here. I don't think it matters at the beginning which side that you use. This because you're going back and forth, back and forth. This is the side where the strips are closer to the side, and then this is where it's going down the middle. And she doesn't say one way or the other, but looking at her picture, it kind of looks like it's the one that's in the middle. But it's very hard to tell, but I don't think it really matters. And she doesn't make mention in the pattern, so I don't think it's something I need to worry about telling you which side. So just pick a side, spread out your 4 braids. And the first one on the right will need to go over the one next to it. Now the second one is now under, and we just want to pull it to the side. And now we're working with these 2. This one on the left, or I can't say left or right because I'll be flipping the video. The one on this end need to go under that one. Now you have these 2 main ones in the center here. And the way we're going to work this is whichever one's on top will now need to be going under, and the one that's the strip that's under, which is this one, will always be needing to go on top. So you're always going to do the opposite of what it is. This one is a top one, and this one is a bottom one, an under one. So since this is already under, we want to make sure that this one becomes a top. And now you've separated again. 2 strips on this side, 2 strips on this side. Always work on the same side you first began your braid with. So I started on this side. So this is where I'm going to start again. Now my strip here is an under one, and this one is an over one. So I want my under one to now be an over one. So I'm going to pull it over into the middle, keeping this one over to the side. Because every time you make a braid with these 2 or these 2, you're going to need to have 2 middle ones. So always bring one over, and then the one that was on the outside will now be the one in the middle. This one is the outside one, so this is the one we'll be braiding with. It is an outside one, so it will need to go under, and the under one will need to go over. So this middle one will come on the outside, and then this one will be pulled to the middle. So that these are the two middle ones, which we will braid next. This is an over one, this is an under one, so we need to switch that. This under one will now become an over one, and the over one will now become an under one. Just like that. Now we're back to the start where we have two on this side, two on this side. Again, always start with this one first and braid these two. This is an under, this is an over, so this under one will need to go over into the middle to be your next middle braid. These two, this one is over, this one is under. Since this one is already the middle one, this is the one we'll need to move. So we'll take this strip, move it this way, make this under and over one. And now these will be our two middle strips. And again, this one's under, this one's over, so we will do that and separate them again. And okay, once you get to about this point, you want to go back and just see that this is where we begin, and you see how it goes under. I just want to pull it just a little, and this just pull a little. I just want to make sure that there's no real big gaps in it yet. I mean, you don't want your braid to be really tight, but you don't want it to be loose either. So as long as you can make sure that it doesn't have any big gaps in it, just tug it a little bit here and there just to tighten it a bit. And as long as it's not pulling strangely on this, should be good. I just recommend you go back and you check it every so often just to make sure you're not leaving huge holes and that it looks even. Okay, so we're going to keep doing that. Again, working from this side. This is going to go over. This one's under, this one's over. So you want this to go under. Then these two, this one's over, this one's under. So this under one will now go over. And then you just keep repeating that. This one's under, so it will go over. This one's over, so it will go under. This one's over, this one's under, so this one will come over. Just keep making sure everything's good. So just keep on with that. If it's under, you want it to go over. If it's over, you want it to come under. Then you'll work the same two in the middle, whoops, the same way. This one's under, this one's over, so keep doing that until you get it braided all the way to the end. Okay, got to the end. It's pretty much done. I mean, maybe I could get this one and go over like this, and then this one I could pull over here, but keep in mind it wherever you stop here, if it looks like there's just so much going on right at the end, it doesn't really look good either. So if you want it to be kind of like this, you can, where it's just almost done. Because remember, you're going to have to sew it like this, straighten the line. Do you like it like that? Or you think it's too loose? Then try to braid it and adjust it the way that you should until it looks good. And you know that if you align all four of these pieces like you did with all the side stitches going this way, because you're going to have to sew it that way again, and you like it, then you know that it's probably a good time to stop. Now, if you should also take a look at the braid. Make sure that it's not bigger on this side and then gets smaller as it goes. If you do, this is the time to adjust it. Either you can tighten it and follow it down and tighten it all the way down to do it to all of them, or maybe you can loosen this one a little bit if you feel like this is a little smaller than this one. make adjustments now, then bring it all the way to the end again, and then just double check it, because once you start to sew, that's it. If you think it's even enough, oh, trying to find my camera, there you go. See, if you think it's about all equal, everything is good. Oh, this spot here, may want to loosen it a little bit. Okay. I think that will be good. I can live with that. Okay, so once you have gotten it the way you want, this is where it comes in handy to already have your everything ready to go. You will do the same thing as you did before. With the first band, the first side that we did, you'll be doing it the same as you did before. So I need to back up in the pattern to get there. There. Okay. So we're going to go in through the very first side stitch, just like we did before. Remember, we're going to be doing single crochet decrease, single crochet, and then we'll move over to the next one. We're going to do just like we did before. So again, I'm going to attach my yarn by single crochet attachment, by pulling up a loop, going through. That's my first single crochet. Now we have our band, for me at least, going the opposite way here. But I'm still going to do my best at finding my 2 stitches in between the side stitches here, because this side stitch, you know, is going to be your last single crochet. So you need to find a way to go in at least 2 stitches here. So I think this time I'm going to go into the stitch right on the band here, right on that line of stitches here, and then right next to it I'm going to find a stitch to go into. Then I'll do my decrease, then I'll find my side stitches, find the top of it, then put my single crochet there. Now don't lose where your braid is supposed to go, like I'm trying to do here. So this one I had going under. So go into your next strip, do a single crochet, then again I'll do my decrease, single crochet down the side, top of the side stitches. Oh yeah, I got a little piece of string there. There we go. Then find your next one here, do your single crochet decrease, single crochet. Remember, at the end of this you should have 12 stitches. Decrease, and then the very last single crochet on the top of my side stitches here. Count, make sure you have 12 stitches. 3, 9, 12. Okay. Just kind of going over it to look, because this is, again, if you don't like the way it looks, this is the time to change it. But I think that's a good connection, and it looks pretty good at the end of my braid here. So now for row 2, you'll chain 1. Now I feel like I can back out a little. I have a string here I want to get out. For this one, you're going to single crochet in the very first stitch, and then you're going to do a decrease. So just like we did on the other side, it'll be single crochet, then a single crochet decrease, single crochet decrease, single crochet decrease. Then you'll chain 1 and turn. For row 3, we will do the 1 single crochet worked in the first 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and then 3. Then we'll work a single crochet decrease. And then in the last 3 stitches, you will put 1 single crochet. You should have 7 stitches now. After row 2, I forgot to mention you were supposed to have 8 stitches. At the end of row 3, which is the one we just did, you should have 7 stitches. And now from, just like we did before, rows 4 through 14, you should have 1 single crochet. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. You're going to chain 1 at the end of this row. Then you're going to work 1 single crochet in all of the 7 stitches. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark this row. So I know that this is my row 4. And then I'm going to go ahead and do 10 more rows for a total of 14 rows. Okay, just got done. Hid my tails. Everything is good. The first, why are you fading? There we go. The first braid is done. Now again, like I said, you make four these strips, but with a chain of 86 instead of these that we did a chain of 70. And you'll do these strips the exact same way until you have 4. And then again, once you have your 4, you can rewind the video if you don't remember how I put them together before. But you'll do the exact same thing as you did here, except instead of 14 rows of single crochets, it'll be 17 rows. So you'll do 3 more rows. So that's the only difference between the smaller braid and the bigger braid when you're doing the end part here. It'll be exactly the same. Rewind the video, watch it until you get up to here, and instead of stopping at 14 rows, just add 3 more, and you'll do the same for both sides. You'll braid it the same. Everything is going to be the same. Only difference is that single crochet part. So again, you'll connect it the same, braid it the same. So once you've got your second one done and braided, and also have your ends just like this, I will show you how you put both braids together. Okay, I finished my longer braid, and you can see one is a little longer than the other, not by a lot. And I got this one again to 14 total rows, and the longer braid is 17 total rows here in single crochet part. And once you get both braids done, you want to turn it over to the back. So this is the front of both braids, so flip them over to the back. Now she recommends getting a very long piece of string. Okay, on the pattern she says 1.5 yards or 1.3 meters of string. Just get a decent amount. And thread your tapestry needle. She recommends that you do a bit of tightening along where it connects, where you have it connecting, because it will help your cowl keep its shape better. So you see how there's this one and this one, how they intersect like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go under like this one and go into the other one. Whoops, I want to make it just along the place where it connects, right underneath where they touch. And I'm going to pull until there's a bit of a tail left. Then I'm going to go in again and do the same thing. You can go back and forth like this, but I'm just going to, especially for this first one, go under one, then the other, and then pull. And that gives it a good connection where this won't be able to pull or loosen up. Okay, and again, from here to here, those two places where it connects, I can come right to here. See, there's even a little bit of a hole here. It will seal that up just by going from one to the next. And if you end up needing more yarn, then you can get some. But if it's not, if the yarn that you're using right now is not too incredibly long, it actually makes it a little easier when you're having to pull through. I do about 2 stitches per section. Now there's here and here where it touches. If you feel like you need to go through there and you want to go to the other side, like to do a connection here and here and maybe even here and here, you can always go down to the other side. See, here I don't have a connection either, so I can bring it down to here. You can just feed it to move it through as you need. So you don't have to do it on every single place. But it definitely makes you have a stronger and less holey scarf. So I did this whole section. Then I can move down, and these two that cross here, just going to bring it down. Mainly when I did my scarf, I just basically made sure that this connections, you know, that run like this, these things here, that they were secured on this side and this side. You know, the ones that go, you know, over it. And it seemed to help. You can do it here under it this way, or just do one on this side and one on here. You know, one that it's crossing over, and then come here to the one that's crossing over it, then move down and do the same. It's up to you. You don't have to do every single place where they connect. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. So it's up to you, but you need to do it for both braids. Okay, I just got through sewing my braids and stuff together so that they have some, you know, hold. So now you have to make sure that the braids are facing you the correct side. So you have, this is my shorter one, and this is my longer one. So you want to put your longer one on top of your shorter one. So your shorter one is down below. See, this is the longer one, the shorter one's down below like that. So she says start with the left side first, which for me is this one, but it may not be the same for you on the screen. So I'm telling you now, start with the left side first, unless you're left-handed and maybe having your buttonhole on the right side would be better for you. So I guess you decide, left or right-handed, which side you should have it. But for a right-handed, you should have it on the left side for sure. But if you're if you're left-handed, maybe you would prefer to have it on the right side. So pick a side, and you want to align the pieces together. So first we're going to make our buttonhole side. Let me get a little closer for you here. Okay, she says to start with the single crochets, one in each stitch. So we have on each of these ones, we have 7 stitches. So I'm going to attach my yarn like I did before with the single crochet attachment. You'll go through the first stitch on this side and the first stitch on this side, and this is the back side, because remember, you go back and forth in rows, back and forth in rows. This is the back side of the stitch, but my braid is still facing the correct way. So don't let this freak you out if you end up where you're on the back side here. So you'll do what you did before. You'll pull a loop up through, 2 loops on the hook, and then pull through both loops. single crochet attachment. You'll want to just do a single crochet working through the stitch of both. You're going through this one and this one. It's equal on the other side. Through all 7 stitches. Then for the rows 2 and 3, you'll chain 1 and turn, and you'll single crochet in each stitch. So for this row and the next, you'll just put 1 single crochet in each of the 7 stitches. Okay, so rows 2 and 3, I just did 1 single crochet in each of the 7 stitches across. So for row 4, again, you'll chain 1 and turn, and then for row 4, you'll do a single crochet in the first and second stitch of the row. Then you will chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then you'll skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, and 3, and then single crochet in the last 2 stitches. Now, if you don't have a 1-inch button and you only have smaller buttons on hand, you can go ahead and single crochet in the first 3 stitches, only chain 2, and then single crochet in the last 2. That's how you can adjust your buttonhole a little smaller if you need. So for row 5, again, you'll want to chain 1 and turn. For row 5, you're going to single crochet in the first 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and then here in this chain 3, you're going to work 3 single crochets on that chain. So 1, 2, and 3, and then you'll single crochet in these last 2 stitches, 1 and 2, and that's the end of row 5. Chain 1 and turn. Now for row 6, you'll be putting 1 single crochet in each of the 7 stitches. For row 7, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. For row 7, she wants you to skip the next 2 stitches and then double crochet 6 in the next stitch. So if you skip 1, 2, and in this 3rd stitch here, work 6 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then she wants you to slip stitch to the very last stitch of the row. So you'll be skipping these 3, and in this very last one, you will slip stitch. Now, I did mine a little differently. You could do it just like this, and it kind of gives it a, like, you know, to the side kind of look here, which is cool. I wanted mine just to be a little bit more centered. So what I did is I chained 1 to begin the row. I skipped the first 2 stitches like she told us to, but instead of putting 6 double crochets in this 3rd stitch, I only put 2 double crochets. Then I worked 2 double crochets in the next 2 stitches as well. So I still had 6 double crochets, but they were just separated into 3 stitches. So instead of putting 6 stitches here, I put 2, and then the next one I put 2, and then this one I put 2, which left me with 2 stitches left on the end. And then I just slip stitched in the very last stitch, and it gave me more of a rounded edge, which I liked better. So you can do however you like. Either way, when you get done with that, you can you chain 1 and cut your yarn. Okay, so again, got done with this side. Make sure the braids are okay, and you'll do exactly what you did before. working through one, working through the next, single crochet attach, and then you're going to work through all 7 stitches. So that's 3, 4, and 7. Then chain 1 and turn. Now for rows 2 through 6, so I recommend after this next row, which will be row 2, you place a marker on the end of it, and then you want to do 1 single crochet in each 7 stitches across for rows 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So when you get done with row 6, come back here and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, again, after you get your 6 rows done, rows 2 through 6, chain 1, and again, just like you did before, skip the first 2, and then in this third one, if you want to do the way the pattern says, you want to work a total of 6 double crochets in this stitch, and then slip stitch into the very last one to end. But I'm going to put 2 double crochets in that stitch only, and then 2 in my next, and then 2 in my next, for a total of 6 double crochets, but just spread out between 3 stitches. Then I have 2 stitches left, and I'm slip stitching in the last one. Chain 1, then you cut your yarn, and there you go. Your scarf is almost done. Oh, darn it, I forgot. I wanted to leave a bit of this very last little bit here. If you leave a bit of a tail, then you can use this to sew on your button. I don't think I have enough here to be able to do that. Anyway, get your button, and I had one here picked out. This one. So I'm gonna make sure it's on the right side here. So what I do to kind of find out where my button belongs, okay, so this is the right side, this is the right side, these are the back. So I have both right sides facing me. I'm going to put this one and align it up with this. And then your buttonhole, which is right here, I'm going to slip this behind like this. Center it behind this hole here. There, once I have it centered back there in the hole, then I know that's where I want to go with my button. And I have 4 holes in mine, so I'm going to go up. I'm leaving a bit of a tail back in the back here. I'm not pulling it all the way through. Then I'm going to go to the one across from it. Then I'm going to come up from this side, this side, then go on this side. I usually prefer to do this at least 3 times. That should be good, but you can do it a 4th if you want to go through and do it again. So since I have a bit of a tail back here, which it seems to have lost some, I'm going to hide it, and this one here, since I already have it on the hook, on the needle, just gonna carry it down a bit and cut it. Then I'm gonna hide the rest of my 3 tails, and then I will be done. I'm gonna try my button through here. All right, there you go, and see, tried my button, and they're pretty much even on this side. So that is it. This is done. Let me back up just a bit for you. And there you go. This is how you make your double layered braided cowl. I want to thank Crochet Dreams so much for giving me permission to make this tutorial, and also she wants to make sure that you guys know that this is on my hobby is Crochet site as well. You can find both links, the one to Crochet Dreams pattern, which is on my hobby is Crochet site, and I'll put the link as always to the pattern in the description of this video so you can find it. And that is it. I want to thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope that this was very helpful for you, and if you like this tutorial, please don't forget to click like. And if you're a first-time watcher or you haven't got a chance to subscribe yet, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching.